How to be alone. It all begins with knowing nothing lasts forever, so you might as well start packing now. In the meantime, practice being alive. There will be a party where you'll feel like nobody's paying you attention, and there will be a party where attention's all you'll get. What you need to do is to remember to talk to yourself between these parties. And again, there will be a day, a decade, where you won't fit in with your body, even though you're in the only body you're in. You need to control your habit of forgetting to breathe. Remember when you were younger and you practiced kissing on your arm? You were onto something then. Sometimes harm knows its own healing. Comfort knows its own intelligence. Kindness too, it needs no reason. There is a you telling you another story of you. Listen to her. Where do you feel anxiety in your body? The chest? The fist? The dream before waking? The head that feels like it's at the top of the swing, or the clutch of gut like falling and falling and falling and falling? It knows something. You're dying. Try to stay alive. For now, touch yourself. I'm serious. Touch yourself. Take your hand and place your hand someplace upon your body and listen to the community of madness that you are. You are such an interesting conversation. You belong here.
Thank you, Lori. I remember when Dawn was teaching in January, and she spoke about rubbing metta on our bodies. Maybe some of you remember that. It was a very visceral, physical experience that stayed with me. Metta, like warm, soft rain that moistens parched soil and softens a hardened heart. It softens the rigid and divisive lines of us and others. Metta is the language of us. It's a language of connection. And as Lee said, these bodies are a part of nature, connected to the elements, the winds, the rivers, the sunlight, and the earth. Jack Kornfield writes, we can feel the elements of life moving through us. Our experiences of being shaken, rigid, grounded, clouded, or clear are the play of elements. Our griefs are the water elements. Our stubborn stance or our lighthearted dancings are the earth moving in us, moving in our bodies. Our yawns and songs are the octave in the air. And a very wise teacher named Thich Nhat Hanh said, if we want to fall in love with ourselves, take a breath and remember, we have a body. We want to have a loving relationship with our bodies, with these bodies. We want to have clearer communication with our bodies. Our bodies have a lot to say. I'm going to tell you what my heart my physical heart once told me. It said, with a lot of hard work, I have kept you alive for a long time. And you haven't always taken good care of me. Too much food, a drink, not enough exercises, and your ramped up emotions made me work harder. And when you were cold and unkind, a rock or an island, I didn't stop beating. When you were loving and kind, I felt a delicious ease. And I'm still here with you. As time goes on, though, I'm going to need more care, more and more. I hope you'll remember that. It's been easy. Maybe some of you will identify with this, to take this heart and body for granted. And it makes me sad to think about. I haven't always treated this body with kindness and care. My stern heart was right. And I know it was a moment of loving kindness. Buddha said, we do not possess our homes, our children, or even our own body. They're only given to us for a short while to treat with care and respect. About 3 years ago, I received some difficult medical news about my heart. Please don't worry, I'm okay. It's good that it was found, it was taken care of. And I want to add that I am deeply grateful to medicine and to doctors who really listen. My doctor was so kind. He had a good heart, and that made all the difference in the world. He provided a holding environment. And I know for many people, that is not the experience. That was a privilege. And good medical care should be a basic human right. And it is not, all too often. Well, the news disturbed me. It was an X factor I had not expected, at least not on that day. And it was a wake-up call. You know, we keep getting these wake-up calls. It wasn't shocking. It wasn't like, oh my, how could this be happening? But it was a wake-up call. I know all about the idea of impermanence. We have a practice that teaches us about impermanence, anicca. The idea of impermanence became vivid in that moment. In that moment, I was pretty wide awake to my own impermanence. I would like it to be different, but it isn't. I'm attached to this body, this heart, and I feel myself grasping, holding on, wanting to bear down. Here I am. This is samsara. This is dukkha. The stream is moving. And in this moment, it feels as if it's moving really fast. And I want to hold on to something, a log, a rock, or a low-hanging branch. That strain between how it is and how we want it to be. This is dukkha. Wanting to hold on to something solid and I can't find it. Dukkha. And sometimes we can feel that gap really acutely. This is a moment of choice. Whether we accept or deny, this is how it is. What makes it so difficult for us to just accept, to let be? Heart, mind, body want to feel on solid ground. And I remember thinking, breath is a refuge. And I hear Susan's voice say, don't go out into the future. You stay right here and breathe. And you will be in good company. From Thich Nhat Hanh. Understanding impermanence can give us confidence, peace, and joy. Impermanence does not necessarily lead to suffering. Without impermanence, your daughter could not grow up to be a beautiful young lady. Without impermanence, oppressive political regimes would never change. We think impermanence makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is we want things to be permanent when they are not. Anicca is the Pali word for impermanence. We really have nothing to say about this. It's how it is. But things are not just passing. They are also arising. And there's Bill's voice. And I remember thinking how many people are getting difficult information right now. Far more difficult than this. Maybe unbearable. And yet they bear it. May they find comfort. May they find ease. There's that beautiful Tonglen practice of taking and receiving. And I remember like just allowing myself to feel, oh, this is a difficult moment, my dear heart, this is difficult. And allowing myself to breathe it in and breathe out acceptance, imagining other people doing that right there with me. And there was comfort in that belonging. Like soothing a baby in distress. We all have babies in us. We were all babies once. Think about that. These earthy, natural bodies are precious. And from Lama Willebaker, from this wakeful body, in reality, there is so much to our body than what we think about. From the perspective of Buddhism, the conceptual body or body image, fat, young, sick, old, is not the experiential body. The authentic body is not conceptual at all. It is the body of this present moment, the one you are experiencing right now, the one we are feeling right now. It's not the body of yesterday. It's not even the body of 5 minutes ago. This living organism, the one that is feeling, hearing, seeing, breathing, and vibrating with life right here, right now. This is the body we experience. This is not the body we think about. It's where we experience pain, pleasure, focus, joy. It is not contrived. It is not fabricated by thoughts. We want to widen our field of awareness and befriend these entire embodied somatic experiences. Body of sadness, body of pleasure, body of grief, and body of love. Our bodies are key and vessel. And when we say the body is a temple or sacred, it is an invitation to kind of feel into the vastness, the mysteriousness of this body that supports life in so many ways. Thank you for listening.